Thank you all very much, and I appreciate this chance to be here. Don't look at me, look at this room. Look at the ceiling, and look all around you. This is a famous room in America. It is a famous room on Capitol Hill. Some of you saw the movie Titanic. 99 years ago, there was a hearing in this room about the sinking of the Titanic. There have been hearings in this room throughout this time on Vietnam, on Watergate, on Iran-Contra, on the confirmation of Supreme Court justices. When John Kennedy announced his candidacy for President of the United States of America in 1960, he stood right here. 8 years later, when his brother Robert Kennedy announced his candidacy for presidency of America, he stood right here. This is a room of American history, and you come today to write the next chapter in American history. You are here in a cause that affects many of you personally and your families, but you are part of a journey that this country has been on since its earliest days, a journey of freedom and opportunity. Now, many people have been blessed on that journey because they were the fortunate ones. They happened to be the right color, the right background, maybe even the right gender at that moment in American history. But thank goodness, those who understood what America was all about realized you can't limit the American dream to people of a certain color or gender or background. The American dream is there for everyone. The American dream is there for you. And that's why your presence here today is so critically important. We are a nation of immigrants. Just for the sake of the record, I'll just ask, when I look in this audience, do I see the children of any Lithuanian immigrants? My mother. She came to America 100 years ago, brought at the age of 2, she was a dreamer in her time, to Baltimore with my aunt and uncle, and my grandmother, who spoke no English, got off of the boat in Baltimore, Maryland, with a slip of paper which said, East St. Louis, Illinois. She had no idea where that was. She asked until she found the train station, and they made it. They met up with my grandfather, and my mother became a new immigrant to America. Today, her son is a United States Senator. That is my story. That is my family's story. That is your story. That is the American story. A story of people who struggled to come here, and when they came were not welcomed, but stayed anyway. People who took the hardest, dirtiest, longest jobs available and said, it's okay, just as long as we can be here and make sure that our children will have a chance, it's worth it. They worked 16 hours a day at shops. They took those dirty jobs, digging holes, working in the slaughterhouses and the steel mills. They did them all. It's a story of who we are and something more important. I had a chance to go back to my mother's village in Lithuania. She never did, but I did. And I met some of our relatives, and they took me to see the 2 or 3 things that were still there from when she left in 1911. There was a Catholic church where she was baptized, and there was a well in the center of town. And I looked at that well, and I thought about my family drawing water from that well 100 years ago. And then I thought about the night that my grandparents called in all their relatives and friends to announce the news that they were leaving their village of Jurbarkas, Lithuania, and going to America. They had heard that there were opportunities and jobs there they would never be able to find in Lithuania. and they were leaving and wanted everyone to know. And I thought about the people who were around the table that night, who listened to this story about their journey, what they must have said when they left that house. I'll bet they said, "Can you believe the Kutkaita family is going to leave their home, their church, their garden, their dog, their family history, all their relatives, to go to a place where they don't even speak the language? They'll be back." Now that's your story, and that's your parents' story, and that's your grandparents' story. They didn't go back. They stayed and they fought, and they became part of America. And there is something in this nation's DNA, there is something in this country that goes back to that determination against all odds to come here and succeed. You bring it to America. Your generation brings it to America. And it's why this great country, as diverse as it is, and I look at this audience and I see a picture of the world and a picture of America. That's why this is so important. I know some of you heard my story yesterday about how I started this. When Teresa Lee, is Teresa here? There she is, front row. Her music teacher contacted me and told me her story, and I said, we need to change the law. That was the first DREAM Act. Now today, where are we? First, we're at a point where we have passed the DREAM Act in the House of Representatives last year. We got 55 votes for it in the Senate. We still are not there in making it law, but we are not quitting. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. I have not given up on you. Don't you give up on me. We're going to pass the DREAM Act, and you're going to be part of that. This president supports the DREAM Act, and yes, I will be happy to present him with whatever you'd like me to present him with when I see him later this afternoon and talk to him about this, and I will. The second thing I want to tell you is on these deportations, we are going to work together, and we have. When I heard Mandeep's story, what a beautiful story it was, and I know that you reached out to Gabby and to the network and others in terms of making sure that you were not deported. And my message to all of you is, if you can't reach out to Gabby, reach out to our website. Come to the Durbin website. There's a place you'll find us, and we will try our very best to help. We have been able to save many souls so far, and we are going to continue that effort. And I want to give special thanks to a man who is behind this, passing the bill and working so hard, and that is Joe Zogby. Joe, wave your hand. Joe is terrific. He's the best. He's the best. We had our hearing yesterday, and I want to thank you. We had 100 television stories across America about the DREAM Act. So DREAM Act in America's mind is alive and well. It is not yesterday's issue, it's today's issue, it will be tomorrow's issue. We are going to continue that fight. Now I need for you to help. We are going to reach out to this administration because they came up with this important memo, which for the very first time puts in writing that they are going to establish a policy about deportation, which will take into consideration those who would be eligible for the DREAM Act. That's the first time any president's administration has ever put that in writing. We're going to hold them to this promise, a promise that we are for education, not deportation. Then I want you to help me. I've told you, some of you before, we need to reach out and expand this family beyond those who are in the room. We need to reach out at students at UC Davis who are not facing deportation. We want them to stand up and say, I'm a dreamer too. People who are comfortable in their citizenship and their security need to stand with us so that you have allies and friends. You know how to do this far better than I do. You're in the world of Twitters and tweets and Facebooks and things I don't know much about. But you know how you can reach 100 people in a second. And you know that you can reach them effectively and say, we need your help. Come this September, is it the 24th, Joe? Is that the date? 24th and 25th of this September. We are going to take our message to churches and to temples and synagogues all across America, and we need your help. We need one of you at least to volunteer to go and tell your story to one of these churches, to the people who would gather there. Tell them what the DREAM Act is all about. We need to build this grassroots movement from the base of America. I believe we'll be successful, and I'll tell you why. America is committed to basic justice and fairness. You will hear the negative voices. You always do. Yes, sir. Thank you. You will hear the negative voices. People who say, well, you heard them yesterday in the hearing. People have a different view of America in this bill. But trust me, that is not who we are, and that's not what we are. When people stand up, when leaders stand up and say the right thing about America and its values, others say, I agree with that. I'm glad someone said it. So now we have to continue this effort. I have been so proud of you. I come here today with a sense of humility, asking your forgiveness because for 10 years I haven't finished the job I started, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to make sure the DREAM Act becomes the law. I'm going to make sure your dreams become a reality. I'm going to make sure the America of tomorrow is even stronger than the America of today because you will be part of it. You will be part of our future. You will prove to all of our critics how wrong they are when you are given a chance to be a doctor, to teach, to be an engineer, to serve in our military. You will make my case that I've made on the floor of the Senate and across the halls of Congress, that given a chance, these young people will once again prove that another great generation from all over the world can come together, call America home, and make it a greater nation. God bless you for what you're doing.